Lebanon 1943. A handshake between a Christian and a Muslim, no document, no signature, would define Lebanese identity and lead the country to independence. This was the National Pact, but to understand how it happened, we need to go back to where it all began. It's 1920. World War I is over. The Ottoman Empire has collapsed and France has just drawn new borders in the Middle East. They take Mount Lebanon, historically a Christian mostly Maronite area, and attach to it the coastal cities of Beirut, Tripoli and Sidon plus the Bekaa Valley. The result? Greater Lebanon. Christians were thrilled, Muslims not so much. For the Sunni communities of the coastal cities, this felt like being cut off from Syria, the heart of the Arab world, and being forced into a French-controlled Christian-dominated state that they never asked for. And the Sunnis made their position very clear. Throughout the 1920s and 1930s, Sunni leaders from Beirut, Tripoli and Sidon repeatedly rejected Lebanese statehood and demanded reunification with Syria. They saw themselves as part of the Arab world, not as citizens of a French-controlled, Christian-dominated state. France's response was to ignore them entirely, which only deepened the tension. This frustration led to a series of conferences between 1923 and 1936. In 1923, they sent petitions to France. In 1926, they boycotted the new Lebanese constitution. In 1928, Abdel Hamid Karami took the demand all the way to Damascus, and by 1933 and 1936, they were meeting regularly at the home of Sunni notable Salim Slam in Beirut. Same message every single time: we want Syria, but something was about to change. By the mid-1930s, even the Maronites were having second thoughts about France. In 1932, France suspended the entire constitution rather than allow a Sunni president, turning everyone against them. Patriarch Arida then issued a 5-point demand for full independence and fought France over the tobacco monopoly, demanding Lebanese economic autonomy. France's grip was slipping, except for Emile Idde, Lebanon's stubbornly pro-French president, who refused to let go of France until their very end. In 1936, Qasem al-Salah, cousin of the future Prime Minister Riyad al-Salah, wrote a document that became the intellectual blueprint for the National Pact. His argument was straightforward. Sunnis should abandon their dream of Syrian unity, and Christians should drop their dependence on France. The solution was a mutually independent Lebanon where both communities made concessions. 7 years later, that's exactly what happened. In 1942, everything changed. France had fallen to Nazi Germany, the Free French were clinging to control of the Levant, and Britain sent General Edward Spears as its minister to Syria and Lebanon. Spears was, to put it diplomatically, not a fan of France. He immediately pushed for elections and built alliances with Lebanese nationalists through his political officer Furlong, who made contact with Riyad al-Salah, Lebanon's most prominent Sunni nationalist. Meanwhile, British officials arranged a meeting in Cairo between Maronite politician Bshara al-Khoury, the Egyptian Prime Minister, and the Syrian president, where Khoury received formal Arab approval for an independent Lebanon. Elections were scheduled for September 1943, but the French-appointed Thabit tried to rig the process by allocating far more seats to Christians than Muslims, nearly causing a full Muslim boycott. He was quickly removed by the French, and when elections finally happened, nationalists won, and Salah entered the parliament for the first time. On September 19, Khoury and Salah agreed on the National Pact. Christians accept Lebanon's Arab identity, Muslims accept Lebanese independence, and the president should always be Maronite, the prime minister Sunni, and the speaker Shia, with parliamentary seats split 6-5 favoring Christians. Khoury was elected president on September 21 and named Salah as prime minister. On November 8, Parliament voted to strip all French mandatory articles from the constitution. France responded by arresting Khoury, Salah and several ministers, throwing them in Rashaya fortress and appointing Idde as temporary head of state. It completely backfired. The arrests united Muslims and Christians against France like never before, and after 11 days and under British pressure, France had no choice. On November 22, 1943, the leaders walked free. November 22, 1943 became Lebanon's Independence Day, and it still is today. From Greater Lebanon in 1920, through the conferences, shifting alliances and the arrests at Rashaya, it took 23 years and two communities finding common ground to get here. But the National Pact didn't just deliver independence, it defined how Lebanon would be governed afterwards, establishing a power-sharing system between Christians and Muslims that shaped Lebanese politics for decades to come.